Wagwan, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what's good, bro?
What it is.
You know what it is? It's 6 Foot Weights, your favorite podcast, with your favorite cheese boys, you know. My name is Tavo.
And my name is Senna.
And this is going to be another, another good hour, good laughs, good insights, good knowledge. It's just going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. But otherwise, Mr. Moy, you all right?
I'm alive and blood-clad, kicking standard, sure as usual.
That's good to hear. We love it. Let's go straight into the housekeeping. In terms of housekeeping from my side, pretty straightforward. Obviously, shout out to everybody that's listening to the podcast. Looking at the stats, it's looking good. I'm seeing growth, especially in the UK. We seem to be continually making, good growth in the UK. So shout out to everybody who's in the UK listening to the podcast. Obviously, shout out to everyone who's listening globally. Where am I? Right. YouTube, we are uploading all of our episodes now on YouTube as well. So if you're at work, you want to listen to the episode and you're trying to be slick and not, be caught on your phone. If you have that type of job, then, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the podcast, like the ting, retweet the ting. And if you don't, we're inclined to believe you're a hater. That's all the housekeeping on my side. Mr. Moy, you got anything?
No, nothing from the big man. Special thanks, as you say, to everyone who listens to the ting. It's always refreshing when you hear someone say, "Hey, I've been listening to the podcast. I like what you guys said in episode Banbani," and then I have to think, and I'm like, "Yo." That happened when you're talking to someone like, "Yeah, remember when you spoke about this?" And I'm like, "Yo, bruh, that's like 30 episodes ago. I don't remember."
Yeah, now you're just kind of like there, like, oh wow, I have. So it's either someone will be like, "Oh, what was the name of that track that you played?" And and I have to go back and play the album, or it's like, "Oh, this and that." I'm like, okay, so now I'm going back, trying to remember which episode or when we did this and that. But we appreciate all the feedback. We love it. It's absolutely great. It keeps us going, keeps the podcast growing. If Mr. Moyo's got nothing, if you've got standing on your side, we can go straight into the first topic. I feel like this is the most clean entry into the pod ever. Like, the music is still going, today there's no procrastination. We're not, we're moving. Men with purpose today. I guess our first topic is I guess we'll be introduced by Senna. You saw a thread. I was at work when you sent it to me. But it was regarding, I think it was a thread of individuals who were talking about sex or lack thereof in married couples. And do you care to expand on that?
Dog, this ish made me scared of marriage.
What happened?
So I think it's by. I think she says. I think her handle's @Real Talk Fadzi with an E. She's like, to all married men and women who have spouses who don't want to have sex with them, kindly use the link below to speak out about your experiences. Even those who are divorced but experienced this, kindly feel free to talk about your past experiences. So she then posted, those secret link things. Where you can you basically confess things that and your identity remains anonymous. Dog, the stories underneath there, she had like 24 stories or something like that, where mostly men are speaking about how they're being denied intimacy in marriage. A lot of these guys come and they're like, let me actually just read one. I need to respond to these ones. This guy says, I really thought I was the only one going through this boring situation, but I feel like I need to respond to this. My case is like this. We are 1.5 years into marriage. My problem is that time Tinoita sex Shona people, please forgive me if I butcher the pronunciation of things. Time yatinoita sex isho masteric. I used to think it's normal
What does that mean?
I think he's saying that it's not enough. I'm guessing.
Okay.
I used to think.
So the time we spend having sex is what you're saying.
I think so.
Okay.
I used to think it's normal until ndakunzwa vame vachitaura kuti they have sex every day. We literally have sex 2 times in 2 weeks, and we only do it kana iye arikuta. My madam always comes with too many excuses every time I try to initiate sex, and ini ndogozo muzwin sisa. I think that means sisa. Like to understand.
What is? I don't understand it.
No, I think he used to be understanding, but it's starting to get to my head, manj.
Okay.
At times, tinoita foreplay, and then I make her come. Then, neta, so I can't get it anymore. Tokona kupedzisisa nekuponyora.
Oh my god. Okay. So can we let's go back. So let's clarify this. So essentially he said that, I used to be understanding initially, and then what did he say after
from other
that?
people that they've been having sex every day.
Okay, so other people are chopping all the time, and then when they get intimate, I guess he makes her orgasm, right? Gets her to that point, and then she's done.
Yeah,
essentially.
And then he can't get in anymore.
And then he ends up having to take care of business himself.
Yeah, he ends up having to masturbate.
All right.
This has been going on for a very long time. So recently, I googled to see what could be causing it, and ndaona kuti it may be a spiritual husband. I
didn't expect this lesson. Okay,
I didn't expect it either. It might be a spiritual husband, blah blah blah. I'm just gonna summarize. At times, as it stands, I think I just need a side dish to quench my sexual thirst. Problem comes, obviously the whole side chick thing is an issue, right? I won't try to read the rest of it because I'll butcher the Shona even more. But
do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah, I get what he's saying. So he wants to get a side chick, but he's just concerned that I think people will be like, yes, people are gonna look at it negatively if he does that. Also, he gets caught. I assume that's the issue. But like, there's many stories underneath this thread that are like that, where men are just complaining that me and my wife don't have sex anymore. I want to get a side chick. I decided to cheat. I did this. I did that.
So you I'm guessing you went through most of the thread. Are you saying that the majority is men who are complaining?
Yeah, the majority is men.
Interesting. I actually thought it would be the opposite, but all right, fair enough. Wow, that's a lot. Is there another one that you wanted to read, or we're good?
Do you want to read one more? Maybe let me read one more. I did not know that a lot of us men are suffering like this. I am a married man of 6 years now. If I don't initiate sex, hapana. Sex is all about her timetable, when she is in the mood. Every time I initiate it, there is always some kind of excuse, i.e., I am tired, we did it yesterday, let me sleep a bit later, we'll do it later. When you wait for the later you have been promised, Muno akuti, I'm sleepy, let's do it in the morning. When morning comes, dololo. It becomes very frustrating because unenge waku tocha kutanga munu for fear of rejection. I don't know what.
So what does that mean?
Like, you're scared to even like try because she's gonna reject you.
Okay, got you.
I don't know what happens when we have sex. She's in the mood. It is quite good, but when she's not, she will just lie there and protest. So kutu no pera power. I have not cheated.
Dead chicken. No, man. These kings have it.
I have
pretty
not,
bad.
I have not cheated, but sometimes I think I eventually will. There was another one that I saw where, and let me just find this quickly. I think this will be the last one that I read. this guy said he waited for marriage 30 years yonke.
Hey.
To summarize, he waited for marriage. He's 30 years old, for his wife, because he's a God-fearing Christian man, and he'd been looking forward to getting married so that he can have sex. He eventually gets married, and he finds out that his wife is not keen. Long story short, he then decides to find a side chick with whom he now regularly goes to for sex. He's not obviously, these men don't leave their wives. They just go to the side. Then another guy said he went to then complain to his wife's sister that listen, your sister's not giving me the good stuff. I don't know what to do. And then the sister's like, no, let me service you.
Oh,
bro.
So that's wild.
Anyways, I'm reading through this thing, and it seems like it's mostly guys, because the thread was open-ended, right? It was like men and women in marriage.
Yeah, and it was posted by a woman, right?
Posted by a woman, and she's like, "Come, tell us the stories.
Tell your stories."
Which got me thinking, what is it post-marriage? I think maybe is it in women? I don't want to say it's a women thing, but in people that just, I don't know. The sex drive goes down. What happens, do you think?
Man, obviously I don't know, because it's not something that I've experienced. But I mean, I think what happens is, and you've been in a fat and sit situation. Although in college it's different, because we're like hyper, right? So that's different.
Yeah. College, but like, for a few days, you're already like, but chief,
bruh, like it's for hours, dog. Like, what are you saying? So like, so I don't know.
Skip a day, you're complaining.
Understanding. Exactly. Yeah. No. I really made my get just every day, but like, from what I can put together, in terms of what these guys are saying, and which are pretty legitimate complaints, it's just. I guess maybe but then also the other guy said he was a virgin, so you can't even be like, oh, once you start living together and you can get it every other day. It's like you've been starving for 30 years, dog. So it's like, this is something that's new. This shouldn't be happening this early. If y'all are in your 60s, and it's like, cool, we can hear that chat, but these guys don't sound like they at that point.
They sound like they people who've been, like, it's not even like 20 years marriage from people here. It's almost 6 years, 3 years, 1.5 years, 2 years, married 4 years.
And I mean, and unless there's a physical health problem, you know what I mean, or something happens, or I don't know. Unless we're talking health issues, then they, in my mind, I don't know why it would be like, you're on sanctions with that. Because obviously, when you guys are a couple, it's like, or when you're married, it's literally you two, right? There's no like, oh, let me find another chick or what, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a realistic thing. Yeah, it's not a solution. It's like, listen, if you're not talking, so if your partner's mad at you, giving you the silent treatment, it's like, all right, cool, I've got my boys, I'll talk to my boys, right? Like, it's fine. If you want to maintain your attitude, maintain it. Me, I can go hang out with my boys, have a good time. We'll chat to you later, right? But then it's not that easy when it's coming to, like sex. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna hit up, this chick, and when you're now ready, let me know. Like, that's not a morally acceptable option. And yeah, no, that's just, I don't know, bro. Like, this is just a lot.
Yeah, but then, so the women would then come and say, but my body, I do what I should have sex when I feel like it. I shouldn't be pressured to have sex when I don't feel like it. Because Absolutely. Then and this is just the other side of the chat, right? Because then when they feel like they have to, it becomes, issues of consent become very vague, right? Because now you've got hands that are saying, okay, let me just give him, just so that, because it's my duty, because I'm his wife, so that he doesn't get upset, or so that he doesn't feel like he's deprived or whatever it is. How do you feel about that perspective? Do you think it's a fair assessment, or do you think it's like, but chief, even though
I think
there should be,
it's tricky, because obviously if you're talking like coercing a woman into sex is like technically rape, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
If if she's, you know, pressured into it, then yeah, that can count as rape, which now means then if you make her feel bad and she ends up kind of doing it just because, then I guess that's also in that same basket. But for me, it's fascinating in the sense that with a lot of like obviously a lot of these guys were posting in Shona, so I'm assuming these are Zim couples, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the culture in Zim, when it comes to a woman being, you know, coached up and brought up, it's about, you know, like once you're married, whenever your man wants sex, you give him sex, you know, like that's what your elders, the elder women are telling you when just before, when you're a lobola or married or whatever, about lie, right? They sit you down like, right, this is the playbook, fam. If he says he wants some, you open your legs, you give him some, you know? So that's why I'm personally surprised, because, you know, if a lot of these, like, let's say these sons are old school, right? Because obviously their parents are old school, then in their mind they should be kind of like giving it up all. Because if your elders are drilling that into you, you know, you would think that that's actually the opposite would happen, where it's kind of like it's never an issue. But I'm quite fascinated to find out. I'd want to know the context, you know, because obviously there's his side, her side, and the truth. So even though these guys are putting it out on Front Street, I think I'm very curious to hear on the other side. You know, is it a case of, you know, there are people who are very, very peculiar, right, about how they want to have sex, and be like, oh, okay, we won't have sex unless these conditions are met, right? And maybe the guys don't want to meet those conditions, right? Or I don't know, like who knows, right? We don't know the other side of it, but I would be very curious to know what is the other, because it really wouldn't make sense from a guy's perspective, right? All I can think about is maybe, and it doesn't match, right? So if it was a bunch of women complaining, right? What you could trace it back to in terms of a guy not wanting to have sex is kind of, you know, losing that attraction. But you don't find too many cases of women losing that attraction to their partners, right? If they married because they loved that individual, and, you know, like not Uti, this person was picked for you, right? If it was an organic kind of pairing, you rarely ever find, at least I haven't found too many instances of like, oh, the chick just kind of lost interest in the guy and that was it. So I really am curious to find out what is the extra context that we're missing. Because if it was a guy, then you can be like, yeah, he probably, again, there's other women that he's seeing, you know, at work, in, you know, in different settings and whatever, who are giving him attention, and then next thing, you know, he's chasing those skirts, right? Those are some of the things that are usually more popular. But I don't know, man, like, this is stumping me.
Do you think it's a very easy statement to say that, oh, men just have a higher sex drive than women and just leave it at that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be cheap, you know, like that's kind of like, yeah, that's the easy, it's an easy out. I think there's layers. I think there's a deeper conversation to be had, because there are quite a few women out there who, you know, do have a high sex drive, and they're the ones who are where the guys like, yo, bruh, this chick is crazy, you know. So I don't know. I really genuinely believe that there's something that we're missing. There's an important bit of context, maybe along with the commonality of those cases, that would be missing, you know, at the end of the day.
Yo, no, but it's rough, bro. Like, I think it's a painful thing. I can understand what these guys, you know, are talking about here. I think it feels like, because one of the guys say he's been getting rejected by this woman it's his wife, but he said consistently for a period of 3 years he's given up, and he's now just resorted to getting side chicks. Like, he's like,
at that point you gotta leave,
because
bro.
I think it's hurtful.
3 years.
The one guy even says, it reached a point where I started asking myself what it is about me that she doesn't like. Is it the size of my penis? Does she think that it's small? Does she not find me attractive anymore? It's really things like this that affect self-esteem yangu. And I'm like, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's deep, bro. That's deep. And I will say a lot of the time, because generally guys don't talk about feelings and insecurities and all these other things, they're typically glossed over a lot of the time. Where even like a woman herself would not, those things would not come into her mind of, oh, maybe my man has certain feelings or certain insecurities, and I'm like banging on those, you know, and aggravating those. It doesn't naturally come to a lot of people to be that sensitive, because again, we as men voluntarily hide it, you know, or keep it, you know, buried, and then it comes back to bite us in the ass when the woman feels like, nice, you'll be fine, you know. He's a stone wall, like, you know, those type of things where, you know, I guess these type of conversations where it is communicated that like, nah, gents do have like the feelings. What I would say is, as a guy, the same feelings that a woman feels, we feel, right? Positive and negative, but it's a case of you show them or you don't. Yeah, that's literally it, right? I've been hurt a lot of times. I've been, you know, emotional, irrational a lot of times, but it's just about having that ability to be like, nah, I'm not gonna show it, you know. And then on the outside, it's just kind of like, oh, bruh, Tabo's, you know, he's cool. He's always just kind of chilled. He's laid back, but inside I'm fuming. Yeah, you know, that's literally the difference. And then obviously now, because of that, your partner will then form opinions and just be like, you know what? Like, for example, you know, my person, she thinks that she religiously will tell me, you know, I wish you were like more of a jealous partner. Like, you're never jealous. And I'm like, that's not true. Like, trust me, you even smile at a nigga. I'm like, yo, nigga, what are you doing? Like, yeah, like, you know, nah, that's too much. You know,
it's all about like reining yourself in, right? Because
exactly.
You see something, maybe someone looking at her in a particular way, and you're like, you know what, actually, I don't need to react to this. It doesn't mean you don't feel anything about it or you're nonchalant, but you're just like, nah, actually, I'm not gonna react to this. Not worth it. Whatever.
Exactly. It's two very different things. It's what I show you and what I feel. What I feel in that moment is like, yeah, I am jealous, right? You like, I do, but then also it's like in my mind, I'm like, nah, but I shouldn't be showing that. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep it cool and be like, whatever, it is what it is, because I want to look like I'm secure. You know what I mean? Like, so all of these things, these weird things that play out in your mind, you know, end up coming to bite you in the ass, because now you're being told to know you're not a jealous guy. Yeah, you what this and that. And then the one moment where you do pop off, she's now shocked. It's like, Kari baby, what's going on? Like, this is not you. But no, it is you. You just happen to be seeing it, you know, today. So it's a very weird balance, I guess.
Another angle, which one of the women then commented on this thing, and she's like, well, what if you guys aren't satisfying your wives, and then every time they feel like they need to have sex with you, it's a chore?
True.
That could be another.
It's possible, but then that's their responsibility to communicate and be like, yo, this is not working for me, right? And if it's not working for you, then you tell me. And because these guys, it sounds like they're eager, right? It's not someone who's going to be, you know, even if you're kind of, your ego's hurt or whatever, it's your responsibility as a couple to figure out ways to communicate these things. It is tricky. It's a tricky subject, you know. Nobody wants to be told that they're shit at sex. But you have to communicate. If something's not working, you have to say, babe, this is not really working for me. Can we try this? Can we do this? You know what I mean? Like, those type, you don't have to be rude. There's ways to dance around it where it's like, all right, you're not crushing someone, but you're letting them know, you're getting your point across with, nah, you know what, if we do these things, I think it would definitely help. You know, but if you're just kind of keeping quiet and going about your business, just giving excuses, no, I'm tired, this and that, then you're letting the other person wonder. And, you know, we all have wild imaginations. There's shit that comes up in my head all the time when I'm trying to figure out shit. It's like, bro, you know, and the explanation could have been so simple, very, very simple, but I mean, I've gone to the deep end in terms of possible, you know, outcomes and, you know, whatever. This is, you have to communicate, otherwise there's no story, bro.
What a difficult
Yeah, no, good trick. But no, I'll definitely take a look at that thread, and hopefully those gents can, you know, talk to their wives and be like, aye, bruh, this is
I guess it shows how important kind of sex is in relationships. It's ultimately one of the things that binds two people together, and
absolutely
there's a lot of guilt tripping, I think, that happens when one person wants sex more than the other. Things like, hey, so you don't want other stuff, you just the sex. No, I still want the other things, but this is probably equally important. So yeah, man, it's a scary reality to imagine for oneself.
Good sex does a lot for a relationship, and so does bad sex. You know, that also does a lot to a relationship. So it's like, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I don't know how niggas was doing it back in the day in terms of, you know, putting a ring on somebody and you don't even know what that item's going to be like, you know. Because again, it's not. It can be. It doesn't. It's not a case of like you're trash or whatever. Like y'all might not be compatible.
Yeah.
Now you're stuck. Bruh. I could never. Because now, bruh, like, yeah, I'd be stressed. Imagine within the first month, you know, there's no way, bruh. Like in the first month already, silly chatty, you know, there's no way I can stay with this. But you're already thinking, hey, bro, how do I get out of this? Like it's yeah. Yeah, no, it's a lot. Like this Russian relay situation, man, I can't do it. But I need to know what to write. You know, there needs to be probation.
Tell me what.
There needs to be a probationary period, couple months, maybe a year, who knows, whatever everybody's probationary period is. Then it's like, right, you've passed probation. Yeah, I can commit for the rest of my life. You know, and I think that's completely fair. But I can't come in blind, dog. I can't. Going in blind is a lot. But anyway, I guess we can transition into the next topic. The rundown is the part of the podcast where we're gonna run through a couple of topics that were interesting, you know, and we thought we would say one or two or three things on the topic, and we keep it moving. The first part or the first topic that we're going to look at in the rundown is you know, a tweet that Senna sent, and this was I think Sunyati who put out a tweet basically saying, talking about a married couple, right? If I'm not mistaken, a married couple, and the wife is releasing a book, and in terms of the author name, she put her name plus a maiden name and then the last name, the husband's last name, right? So
a double barrel, basically.
Yeah. So if it was Senna's wife, it would have been, you know, Sarah Ndlovu Moyo, right? Essentially, that's what you're looking at. And then Senna got mad, or the husband got mad, and said, "Nah, leave it as Sarah Moyo. Like, drop the Ndlovu because we're married." That's about right, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. So he just wants his surname there. Like, you're married to me, so why can't you just have your husband's surname only?
I think one thing that I would want to know is, what was the agreement, right? When y'all got married, was it a double barrel situation, or is this coming out of nowhere? Because if it's coming out of nowhere, then I kind of get where the husband is coming from. I think, you know, because there's certain guys who, you know, like me, who do care, right? I kind of want you to just, it's a you know, if your name is Sarah and I'm marrying you, yeah, Sarah Maposa, like, sharp. There's no need for extras, you know. This is what it is, right? I'm just kind of that guy. So if we agree, like, hey, that, you know, I'm cool with that, that's what I'm doing, then it's like, yeah, if you author a book, then I'm expecting you to maintain Sarah Maposa, right? That's my expectation. And I understand the annoyance that the husband would have. But again, obviously, if it's been double barrel from time, like that's what you agreed to, then obviously he's way off bounds in terms of this. At least that's my POV.
Yeah, I think you've always kind of been consistent that when you get married, you want your wife to change her surname to yours.
Yeah.
Why? I'll never get the obsession with trying to change someone else's name. It's not important. If she loves you, she loves you. She's
Nah,
with
fam.
you.
It's it's about brand. It's about the team. We're one team. You know. It's
we can be one team. The world will know we're together. You can just keep your name.
Nah. It's not about. For me, it's not too much about the world knowing that. I don't think that's what it is for me. It's for me, you know, to know that we are one unit and this is our name, right? That's how I see it, right?
It's your family's name.
Yeah. And when in my view of marriage is that, you know, the woman is coming into your family and you guys are creating that family. Like, you guys are now a team, but you're a team in terms of it's me. We're now the Maposas. Like, that's what we are. And then within that, obviously, we're going to be a combination of two different families and cultures and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, we are the Maposas. That's kind of my perspective. I don't like this double barrel. Like, nah, fam. Like, you know, it's either we're together or we're not. That's kind of how I view it.
Okay. For me, what I said when I saw that tweet was, I think she must just do what makes her happy. The reason I said that is because I think happiness should be the ultimate sophistication in your life. It should be your ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
And if the moment if it's to change her surname, and that's what will make her happy, to remove her surname and put his, then definitely go for it. If what will make her happy is if it's a double barrel, then go for it. If what will make her happy is for her to have one name, then definitely go for it. What is unfair is if she now has to compromise her happiness at the expense of someone else's request. That's what you call clipping your partner's wings. That's what you call clipping your partner's ability to fly towards happiness, right? Because now they can't pursue what makes them happy because of your T's and C's. And I think that's unfair, generally, in life. Secondly, I don't attach, and this is just, I don't attach a lot of importance to making someone change their surname for me. And this might be because I have a very common surname. But it's like, you know, at school, every other guy was a Moyo. It's like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, okay, cool. But we have our own names in my family passed down from ancestor to ancestor that we thingy, that were passed down to us from generation to generation. Those probably hold a lot of significance and importance. Yes. But I wouldn't impose them on someone in spite of that. To say, hey, wena, as from today, Usungumbulao, you're going to reference that going forward, change your name, your identity, go to Home Affairs, change this thing. It's difficult.
Nah, I mean, again, I don't know. That's how I'm wired, fam. You know, it's okay. And I think these are one of those things where there's no right or wrong. It's just kind of like, hey, that person is like that. That's what they want. And if you want to marry that person, that's what you're agreeing to, you know? Or that's what you're walking in and you said, no, Villa, there's no way in hell I'm changing my surname to yours. And if he's agreed, then okay, sure. But then I think if it's important, for me, it is important because I like that idea of it reinforces that oneness, right? In terms of two people coming together and becoming one, right? And again, one thing that potentially could have been with this whole book thing is maybe, you know, it's a first time, you know, publishing as an author, and she wants to do that for recognition of her family, right? To be like, hey, listen, I went to school and I wrote, you know, a book, and it's about to blow and everything, and I want my family, you know, my mom and my dad to be able to be like, hey, that's my daughter, right? And in that case, I'd even be like, listen, you don't even have to put like the Maposa on it. If that's your reasoning, leave your you know, have your first name and your maiden name, and we call it a day.
What if it's
I'm
just
good with that.
for the brand, you know, like what if it's just for the brand? Because you've published so many books as
Exactly.
Thabo Maphosa.
Yeah.
Now Muntiabuet, actually Chief were now married to change that thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's difficult,
Yeah,
for
those
practical reasons.
That makes sense.
I can't imagine Serena Williams having made so much money as Serena Williams, then deciding to change her name to Serena something else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if we're talking that's a completely different situation, and that's something where obviously, I'd get it. If it's brand, if it's like, hey, listen, this is what I've been doing, then yeah, absolutely. Especially if she she got her doctorate before she got married, and she was doctor's when, but you know what I mean, and you want to keep that, then absolutely. I would never, if you have your doctorate, then I can't be like, yes, ideally I'd want it
Professor
to be
Mang.
But if you're professor this, doctor this, it's like, hey, all right, cool, that sticks.
Keep it.
Yeah, keep it. That makes a lot of sense. But if that's not the case, my fiance used to joke with me like, "Pelanga is a doctorate, chief."
It's over.
It's over. It's done. And I was like, all right, fair enough.
No, but it's a very interesting perspective. Very, very interesting. I wouldn't have. I hope they sort it out. Yeah. I wouldn't have put pressure on anyone to do that. But as I said, people's situations are different. People's marriages are different. Hopefully, they find common ground.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, moving on to the next thing, a bit of controversial news. I stumbled upon a video this morning that I can't remember. Someone posted it in one of the WhatsApp groups, and I took a look because obviously the title of the video is very interesting. It was the 10 best African countries to find a wife. So we're not going to spoil it, but I mean, again, it's a long video. It's like 5 minutes, so I'll only post from. I'll clip it and I'll post from numbers 5 to number 1, right?
Okay.
So at this point the video's in there, but right now, Sena, can we go through before we analyze the whole thing? We can start with number 10 to number 6 in that order. So the best countries in Africa to find a wife, number 10. Let's go from there.
So just a disclaimer, this is not to say that these are the most beautiful women in these countries. It's just apparently the best ones to find a wife.
Yes.
Number 10 is Angola. I've never been to Angola. I don't think I've met someone from Angola.
I know a guy from Angola, I think.
I probably met one person, but yeah, that was once in my life. But yeah, Angola is number 10.
I've heard
number 9 took me by surprise. Number 9 was South Africa.
Yeah, I was shook.
I was shook in the sense that.
But go ahead.
I think I probably expected South Africa to be a bit higher up.
But do you think, knowing who number 1 is, maybe this was, on purpose?
Potentially. And it made me think about who actually put together this list.
Yeah.
But anyways, I would expect South Africa to be a bit higher up. I think, and obviously we're not too. I think South Africa has some of the most beautiful black women in the world. When we're talking wifey material, I do think you still have a big culture of marriage here.
Yeah,
even though
absolutely.
it's slowly declining. And
I mean, but they did mention, they were like, oh, South African women are very submissive and, they'll do anything for their husbands. I was like, yes, man.
I think majority are committed to the marriage life and treating a man right. I think 9 was a bit unfair. But anyways, I wouldn't know about number 8. 8 is Egypt. I've never met a woman from Egypt. 7 is Uganda.
I was
Uganda.
I saw that and I was like, get him out the top 10, bro. Like,
really?
What are we talking about? Nah, I was thoroughly, no. Nah, like, I can't justify it. Like, from what I've seen.
What is it about women from Uganda that you look at and you're like,
no, it's not
material.
No, not that it's not wifey. I guess maybe it was just because my mind is failing to separate beauty and wife material. Maybe that's where I'm struggling, right? because I was kind of like, how many countries? We have a lot of countries in Africa, like they could have thrown in, I don't know, a Gambia, I don't know, something exotic. I didn't hear too many exotic countries. I was a bit disappointed by that, but anyway.
6 is Kenya. Are you surprised?
No. It's about right. That's about right.
Seems about fair, right?
Yeah, seems about fair. So I know I said a few minutes ago, Uti, I was going to put the clip there, but I'll put it now in terms of 5 to Lokuzin, to number 1.
Okay, cool. So number 5, we all know who it is. It's so obviously by this point you've seen what it is. So 5 is Nigeria, 4 is Rwanda, 3 is Botswana, 2 is Ethiopia, and number 1. Apparently, according to this video, the best place to find a wife in Africa is Zimbabwe.
What a joke, my darling. Nah, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. Baby is proudly from Zimbabwe, so obviously this is 100% right.
I was surprised, but I thought about it a bit more, right? And I'm like, it actually makes sense why whoever put this list together had Zimbabwe as number 1. The first reason being, in my opinion, Zim guys, no matter where they go, whichever country they go to, they'll date, but they'll always marry a Zimhan.
That's not true. So,
I think most of the time
that's not true.
I think so, dog.
Do the analysis of the Zimmers that are married or engaged right now. Do the analysis in your head that you know.
Dog, I think a lot of them marry homegirls.
Nah, that's not true. Sen, the ones that you know, dog. Don't generalize. I don't want to name names, but if we did the math, maybe the Zim gents marrying Zim girls edge it by like 60% to 40% type
Zim
of situation.
Guys who've left the country living somewhere else. Okay, there are some Shem that I know. Ban.
Some in majority are different. Sen.
I think it's majority, guys. I think it's majority.
Yeah, but by how much? You're trying to make it sound like it's an 80-20 situation.
No, I'm not 80-20. I don't think it's 80-20. Maybe 60-40. It's probably not that high. But I remember someone once mentioned this to me, that some guys in SA they'll do the most, they'll date, they'll do this, but you'll always have that he's going to marry from Zim. Not sure about that. The second reason, that one probably wasn't the main one, that was just like a footnote. The second reason is I read the comments and it immediately hit me why people think Zimbabwean hands are the best to marry.
Why?
Because there's this constant theme of which they can withstand struggle. And it wasn't even like other people's. It was the Zimhans themselves in the comments saying, Yazi, as a sure girl from Zimbabwe, our economy, despite this, despite that, you still get. And I'm like, Bagiti guys, not so marketing the country well.
You're saying it's because Zimhans are built for war.
Zimbabweans in general. But I think when I read the comments, Zimhan was saying, Zimhan will look after you despite the economy. Even in a foreign country, they will do. And I'm like, hi, guys. Let's do this. Let's talk about this in our own space.
Yeah, no. I mean, one thing that did stand out to me, did you notice how when they were talking about Zimhans, for every other country, a consistent theme was that, Egyptian women are respectful, Rwandan women are respectful, Kenyan women, Botswana women, SA women, Zim women, nothing about respect. They said they're hardworking. Hardworking. It was like some struggle related shit, basically they said Zimhans are troopers. Zimhans are troopers. That's what they said. That lady said Zim Huns are troopers, and that's why that's the best place for you to find a wife. And I don't know, bro. That's like a backwards compliment to me. You know? It's like, I don't know, man. But yeah. So going back to what I mentioned before, South Africa was number 9, right? So I think that's a bit biased. I think Zimhan put this thing. I couldn't quite pick out her accent. So I don't know where the lady who was narrating was from, but I'm pretty sure it was Zim Hans that put this together, and they wanted to shade SA Hans because Zim men have nothing but, you know, really good things to say about South African women. Too good, right? And it's just kind of like, nah, let's just kind of pour some water on this, because obviously if SA wasn't on the top 10, they would have been in quite a fracas. So they had to put them in there. But they were like, they're not getting top 5. You know, it's 8 and we're done. I think Nigeria at number 5. I thought they would be higher up personally. Just purely by popularity, really. I thought they would be higher up. So I was very surprised Nigeria was at number 5. What was that for? Rwanda. Right? Yeah, Rwanda. All right. Rwanda. That's a good play. That's a good spot. You know.
Do you agree with Ethiopia second? As someone who lived in Ethiopia, do you think
100%
second? Okay.
100%, man. I mean, hey, listen. Like for a lot of gents, if you say where are the most beautiful women in Africa, the majority will say Ethiopia. You know, like, and no. Like, yeah, Ethiopian will take care of you. It's just, yeah, no. Again, I was conflicted because obviously with number 1, I can't. You see, if I wasn't in the situation that I'm in, if I wasn't in the relationship that I'm in, yeah, well, then. I could have a lot more fun with this.
Okay, understood. Sanctions understood. The embargo is understood. No, but I think what I wanted to say is that I think as Zimbabweans in general, guys, our brand can't be struggle. It can't be our propensity to withstand and work hard.
These niggas are troopers.
Aye, bro, it can't be. It can't be. Every time someone's like, why is Zimbabwe hardworking?
Bro, we're basically roaches, bro. You know what I mean? Like, people be like, you know, if there's a nuclear attack, roaches will still live. You know, that's essentially what they say, you know? It's like trying to call us roaches, that's offensive as hell.
No matter what.
Exactly, no matter what, Zimbabwean will persevere. No, fam. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm not. That's not me. I'm not built for this, man. I'm not for this of life. No, that's not. That's really not. I'm not about the struggle like that, bro. But yeah, no, we need to figure out get with our PR team, our international PR team, marketing team, and you know, rebrand as a country. Because this is unacceptable. Like, we can't be those guys, you know. Abanye abantu babachela homemaking and njani. Tina
look after you.
You know. But no, this was funny, bro. I sent it to a few colleagues on my team, like from different countries, and they were all shook because, like, when they got to number 1, they were like, Zimbabwe. And I was just dying, bro. Like, because it was so unexpected. I didn't even expect Zim in the top 10, you know? Like, if Zim wasn't included in the top 10, I wouldn't have felt like, oh, okay, hey, what, you know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of, I was like, hey, cool. Not that Guti Zim doesn't deserve it or whatever. It was just going to be one of those things where, all right, you know, it is what it is. We move on with life. But the fact that they were number 1, I know, well done to the Zim ladies, man. We have a lot of ladies listening to this. So congratulations. You guys are the most desirable women in the world. And you can put that on your CVs now. Wuti, listen, I'm hot shit. I'm hot property. Okay? So treat me nice. You know, tell your boyfriends, your husbands, treat me nice. Hot commodity. Yeah, no, man. Anyway, on to the last thing in the rundown. So today in the office, it's deadline week, and we were meant to come in our what's this thing called, our sports attire, because it was like, oh, but we're about to kill it, blah blah, whatever theme it was. So I forgot, and I rocked up in my pants and shirt and all that. And obviously I get to the office and I'm seeing everyone is in their yoga pants and track suits and sneakers. I'm like, how? Oh, I completely forgot, right? So I'm texting with baby, and I'm like, oh, so today I was meant to actually rock up to work with my gym stuff, but I completely forgot. And she was like, yeah, tough. So were you? So to me it sounds like you were that kid that would show up in school uniform on CV's day.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Like I was thinking, I was wearing formal. Ronkum was wearing casual clothes.
Bro. But I will categorically deny that, because CV's day, never ever forgot that. That was circled on my calendar from the first day of the term, and the clothes were laid out. Shout out to my mama. She always made sure that I have fresh clothes, and I was ready to kill it, man. I think, I know. There was a fashion show actually at Masia, and I think either I won for the boys or I was close to winning.
Really, fashion show you're going to?
I don't. Again, this was grade 2. So I don't remember much. Like, people who went to Masia Primary, feel free to add us and add more context. But I know that there was a fashion show, and mans killed it. I had the sauce. I had that drip for the boys, and yeah, I was there. I think either top 3 or number 1. But okay. Yeah, from day one, CV's day was my thing, bro. Like, couldn't wait to show off the sneakers, the jeans, the t-shirts. It was a lot. I had these Dragon Ball Z t-shirts with Goku going Super Saiyan. Fam. I used to be decked out. That was my favorite day. CV's day was, yeah.
CV's day, when I was a kid, it was exciting. I grew older, I was like, that was actually some stupid shit. We had to pay money to wear our own clothes.
Did we pay money?
Well, at Milton, CV's day, the point of a CV's day was for fundraising, right? So you wear your own clothes, and then you bring like $5 or whatever it was, and the school then use that money for something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you had to carry money for CV's day, Tabo. And
I can't remember that.
That's why at Whitestone and the CBC, kwakungela CV's day. Because schools they need money for shit. They're like, CV's day for what?
So wait, at Whitestone we never had a CV's day?
Nah, I remember that. We never had a CV's day, and we had exit weekend, which we didn't have at Milton.
Yeah, no, I used to love exit weekend. Was dope, bro, and it was just like 4 days we paid.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was amazing. Life was great. But were you decked out on CV's day? Were you that guy?
Yeah, although it was probably just, I think I just enjoyed that there was a sense of freedom whenever there was CV's day, right? For some reason, the vibe was just always good when people just wore their own clothes. Yeah. So it's not like I'd have them laid out the night before, but it was nice, it was a good vibe. Like, yeah, I'm wearing whatever I want. I'm wearing tackies instead of school shoes. Yay, this is cool.
So it's kind of like a freedom day situation.
Yeah, it was like a freedom day situation. Like, I'm out of these clothes, and it was always on a Friday as well, which was helpful. So yeah, man, it was nice. And then I think you go to a school where you don't do CVs, you're like, so where's the fun day?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I
look back now and I'm like, CVs guys.
Guys, add us and let us know if you've got any funny CV's day stories. If you have something that you want to share about your experiences from CV's day, wardrobe malfunctions, whatever the case is.
Did you ever forget?
Share your story. Nah, I never forgot.
I once forgot at Milton.
And you showed up in school uniform.
That was the worst thing. It's the worst thing.
Why think I was not surprised.
Dude, it was something stupid, like grade what? Grade 2? Grade 3. It was one of those days where they tell you beginning of the week, Friday is CV's day, and then you just rock up at school and everyone's wearing their own clothes and you're like,
You stick out like a sore thumb.
You stick out like a sore thumb. The whole day you're just feeling awkward and weird. And they make you pay extra apparently if you come in your own clothes. I remember that.
Oh, wow.
It was like a fine of some sort.
They were really collecting that money, yeah?
Ah, dude. That was the point of it.
I wouldn't see. Anyway, let's move on to Siazam. Guys, Siazama is the part of the podcast where if you have a point of order, if you have a question, if you have anything that you want to share with the 6 Foot Weights community, you can, come through. Let us know. Come to the DMs. We're on Twitter. Podcast is on Twitter. 6 Foot Weights, the number 6 FT Weights. So it's at 6 Foot Weights on Twitter, and then we have an email as well. So 6footweights at gmail.com. Same handle. So we have one. Do you have one on your side?
Yeah, just one.
Okay. Is it the Twitter DM or is it another one?
No, it's another one. Did I send you a Twitter DM? This is just another one I got from a homie.
Okay. So someone jumped in the DMs, and she says, "Hey guys, hello, hi. Hope I find you well. This question is for your podcast. Well, I have a friend who is Ndebele. She always mentions that she can't marry a Shona man because the family will never allow her. Question for you guys. Do you think tribalism in Zimbabwe between the Ndebele and Shona is still a thing amongst families? Would you guys marry a Shona woman, or would your families allow you to marry one, hypothetically speaking? Yours truly, me." Yeah, interesting. So obviously, I think I'll start. So I am one of those individuals that is actually in an intertribal relationship, and yeah, my person is Shona. So I guess my family allowed it, but in all seriousness, I would say tribalism definitely still exists when it comes to the link between families, and just kind of like there's a lot of layers that come with it. So there is quite a few things where you do realize that things are still not as easy as they should be, but I guess it goes from family to family. Some families are super like, nah, that shit ain't happening, and other families are much more progressive. But I'll say it definitely is something that still exists, and depending on who you talk to, some people have had it pretty hard and other people have had it pretty easy, and I think for the most part we've had it pretty easy from a tribal point of view. But Mr. Moy, any 2 cents on your side? Yeah.
It's unfortunate in a lot of Ndebele families. You get like someone will throw like a little comment to say, hey, don't marry a Shona person. Hey, hey, it's like a lot of things, right? But some families do that as banter, and others take it too far.
Seriously, yeah.
So there's a difference. You get those ones, and you get ones who don't mind at all. Like one like, yo, bruh, whoever you bring, Tina, we're happy. Which is, I think, most of our families, to be honest. Like, bruh,
yeah.
As long as you marry a good person who treats you right and you're happy, we're happy. I think a lot of older generation is still recovering from trauma ya kudala.
Yeah.
That whole kukurahundi thing, and they're like, we don't want. and
This
then
man just said that whole kukuraundi thing.
at times I feel like I need to play it down, because whenever I talk to my Shona friends about it, they feel very guilty and awkward. So I always feel like I need to, like, I don't know, not make them feel overtly.
I have friends who are like, nah, that shit didn't
sensitive.
even happen, bro. I'm like, and then shit gets real awkward.
Then it's super awkward.
Yeah, then it's like, nah.
So yeah, I think all the generations, the guys born in 1950s, 60s, or earlier than that, even 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
they've grown
70s,
up with a
80s,
lot
especially.
they've grown up with a lot of anger and resentment, which was probably not addressed by the government. It wasn't addressed by society, and we've just gone on through this economic hardship, nursing trauma yakudala.
Yeah.
And then now, Tabo will come and you'll say, hey, listen, family, I want to marry my Shona woman. Then there's a war, man. Now they're projecting their anger, their frustration on umntana bantu who did
That
nothing.
person.
Exactly. So it's not to say Uguti is a big problem. No, I think most families are very accepting. I think 40% of Ula are Shona, and it's
If not more.
If not more, but I think 40 is pretty fair. And
Bro, Skies is very Shona right now, man. Like it's
and I think it's
not the Skies that we grew up in.
And I think it's still very. The majority of the city itself might be 60 or more percent. Like if you go Sibilungene Malokshini, it's still majority in Ndebele. But I think obviously in the suburbs it's probably drawn 50-50.
I think it's 60-40, bro.
In the suburbs,
At least in the suburbs, yeah. Nah.
and in the suburbs, I know that it can't
Like
be
if you
majority.
just go into town. If you go into town, Jay, like Shona is almost, more commonly spoken than Isindebele in town.
I don't
You
think
know,
so.
people. No, like, and I'm telling you from experience. Like people will speak first to me as Shona in certain places in town, where I'm just like, whoa, that's wild. Whereas when we were in Form 1, Form 2, never. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it wouldn't be if you approach someone in town and you spoke to them in Shona first, they'll be like, wait, fam, like this is not H Town, right? Whereas now it's a genuine kind of like someone will speak to you in Shona first and you will respond in Shona as well, and the conversation will go on. But like before, it wasn't that. The city has changed radically in the last 10, 15 years. The demographics, I think, just if you just analyze town without really going out into different suburbs and locals and hoods in Skies, just analyze the situation in town. Go in and just chill in a corner and just listen to randoms, right? People watch and hear how much Shona is spoken. You'll be shook, bruh.
Really?
It's changed. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Well,
really
I mean,
different now.
Whether or not it's changed, really, I don't mind at all. But I think what I'd encourage a lot of families to do is not to take that hatred and pass it on to children. I think it's important that you support your kids. If they say I want to marry such and such a person, be very accepting and say this is what it is. I had a friend of mine who had never dated a Ndebele guy, beautiful Ndebele girl. And this always means that I'm going to marry a Shona guy. Ndebele guys aren't doing much for me. And I was like, okay, hold on, fam. But I
Hold up, nigga.
yeah, I kind of got it. And when one of my other friends, I won't mention her name, when she started dating a Shona guy, there's always this. Ndebele girls always feel like they can't express how much they love the person. Like, so much done, no, like, how, bruh? Like, say it with your chest. Like, we're past that generation that needs to feel awkward about intertribal dating. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, so in terms of where it comes from, Angwazi, personally, Nyagwazi, but in terms of how to deal with it going forward, Angwazi, how you break it down to parents and stuff.
I mean, I think it's just going to be a generational thing of people understanding. And again, that I think it will help, especially in Skies, for example, where, if it is 50-50, like you say, if we go with that, then there is going to be there's a higher probability of Shona and Ndebele people getting along in Bulawayo, because there's so many of them and there's so many of us. It's like y'all have to figure out how to get along. Period. Thank you to that listener for that for that question. It's definitely a conversation that is worth having, and hopefully, things will get better sooner rather than later. And you said you had a last item.
Yeah, it's very quick actually. This is from a very good female friend of mine. She goes, "Sup fam, I'm hoping you can post this on your podcast. I recently started seeing this guy. Everything is great personality, everything, except that when I wear heels, I'm taller than him. I know that this seems superficial. But would it be a bad thing to have that as a red flag, considering that he's not necessarily taller than me in general, just only when I put on heels? I think a lot of girls are.
So what's the red flag?
So I'm not sure. Girls don't like dating shorter guys. It's not like a red flag.
So is she's saying, so what would be the red flag in her case?
So I think her question is, would it be shallow if she's like Angfuni?
Oh, because she's taller than the guy in heels?
Yeah.
I mean, again, you know me. It's if it doesn't align with your brand in terms of, you know. Hey, listen, I know, you know, girls are about, you know, the Instagrams, and, you know, things need to look right, things need to look proper, and if the man on your arm is not adding to your Instagram, you know, it's just cool.
It's cool. Guys, just heels. Like he's shorter in general. I feel like that should pass. I mean, he's taller in general. Generally.
But then now all of those date nights where she's got a sexy outfit and she knows, you know, she's got the heels picked out. Now she can't wear them because now you're going to be mad because, you know, you're shorter than her, or like now her Instagram looks funny because people are like, why is she taller than her boyfriend? You know, like I get it.
Why does it look funny? That's one thing I'll never get. Why does it look funny when the guy is shorter?
Because the majority of, I don't know how it is, but generally speaking, the guy is normally bigger or taller than the girl. Generally speaking, that's what naturally our eyes and our brains are predisposed to. Yeah. So when obviously if the girl is taller, you know, it's weird. And, you know, I'll talk about like my fiance, like, you know, she's taller than your average girl. She's 6 foot, you know? So it's like some of the guys that she would meet would be either that height or slightly shorter. Yeah. Right? So these are some of the things where, you know, but again, there's not that many girls who would be 6 foot tall. Yeah. Right? So in her case it would be a special case. But like imagine if you're like 5'7", and the gent is also like 5'6" or 5'7", that just looks fine. You know, it just looks funny, bro. Like go and find yourself a 5'2" queen and live your life. You know, like come on.
But love, guys, love conquers all.
Nah, man, love is not enough.
But what it means is just generally for tall girls, then the sample size becomes incredibly smaller, which is a struggle that you can do without, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in America, you know, if you're 6 foot tall in America, there's plenty of selection, bro.
I mean, if you're
that was the one country where I felt normal. You know, like people were like, "Oh my god," you know, it wasn't really that thing.
But then
like,
I mean, those guys were taking the biggest slaves to do hard labor. So genetically, black Americans are always just going to be superior in terms of size and athleticism than your average.
That's some dark shit.
No, that's the reality. It's the reality.
Slavery. God damn.
That's the reality. It's the reality. Wow. Why do you think black athletes in all these countries that had slaves are excelling so much?
Senna, you sound hurt, bro.
No, I'm not hurt. I'm just a reality.
You sound hurt? Did the reality. American take your girl? Like, what's going on here? Tell me the real story.
I'm just saying. I'm literally just saying. I'm just saying that if it was during the slave trade, they were taking guys who are above 6 feet and shipping them off so that they can work hard and they'll be, you know.
So do you think that you would have been shipped off back in the day? Would you have made the cut?
Probably would have made it.
keep in mind that there's no subs. There was no subs back then.
There's no Meej.
There was no beach, bro.
Old me, probably not. If I'm going, I'm probably just going because I'm just about your average height or just above average height. But that's nothing else really. Now, probably saying, okay, fine, you look like your arms can be put to use. Let's go. But
yeah, you'd be working overtime in those fields.
In general, I think back then, without gym, without anything, definitely not. When are you going to go, bro? You're going. And
first in line,
you're going.
Yeah, no, it would have been peak for me. Like I would have been from Atlanta. My kids, I'd have been, great grandfather of some NBA player.
Shem, it's amazing how much significance we place in the aesthetics of how we look with our partners. It's fascinating.
Brand alignment, fam. Brand alignment. It's very important.
Yeah. That's it for me, Mr. Maps.
All right. And I forgot there was one that I was asked to add, and we'll do it very, very quickly. Someone posted this in the group, and I was told to come and tell the gents as well. Takuna, you gotta be a bold motherfucker to wake a girl up at 2 a.m. for 3 minutes. Gents, if this is your sub, don't do
Who
that.
did that?
That's rude. Don't do that. That's
you got this from Ahan or from the gents?
From Ahan.
Oh,
from Ahan.
Okay.
So yeah, no. Like, gents, if that's your sub, nah, that's rude.
Yeah, no.
I think about myself. Just it's hard enough. I need to be desperate to pee when I wake up in the night.
To wake up
I'm like,
and do anything.
I could pee. I could, but if I can hold it, I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So now imagine, like, if you're sacrificing that and you're like, you're thinking twice about going to pee. What more if now there's a human being who's waking you up? And imagine now it's winter, right? Especially for you guys in the south.
Yeah.
It's winter. It's cold as shit. And then someone wants to wake you up where you found your sweet spot. Like the oven is there. It's good. Everything is right. Perfect body temperature. Now you want to introduce this cold air that's in the atmosphere for 3 minutes.
Also, to disrupt someone's sleep is a lot, bruh. Yo.
Like literally, now her nipples are hard for the wrong reason. Like, nah. Like, it's just, come on. Like, you can't. Nah. If that's your sub,
fetch your life.
Yeah, no, it's unacceptable. And again, I push back on, like, nah, this is not legit. It's not true. And these two ladies actually had stories,
experiences.
They had receipts. They said nah, and I was like, wow. Omunye said it was literally 1, 2, 3. Thanks for coming.
Shame, man.
I was like, nah, fam, nah, no, like, I legitimately would assault you, because what the fuck?
No, like, I think there should be a commission, an indaba, so that people can air out what exactly it is that they expect from the deed. And I think once people are open and transparent, I prefer this, I prefer that, I'd like this long, I'd like this much. It makes conversations around these things easier.
100%. Definitely. I
and if it's not up to scratch, men's must go to the drawing board and be like, I'll improve.
But I mean, things like that you really can't improve, bro. Like, I don't know.
You can.
Busting up beforehand and, get some numbing cream like Kevin Hart, do something, I'm sure. I know Durex has them, long-lasting, extra thick, type of items. If that's your spillion, dog.
No, you must. Practice makes perfect, I guess, but you must.
No, it does.
I think.
If that's you, that's you.
I think.
If that's you, that's you, fam. But anyway, Mr. Moyo, I think let's leave it here. It's been a good one.
As always, we give thanks. I enjoyed recording this episode again.
Of yes, standard things. And obviously, guys, it's been another episode of 50 of 6 foot weights. You know what to do. Like the ting, retweet the ting, subscribe to the ting, and if you don't, we are inclined to believe you're a hater. Mr. Moyo, au revoir.
Laters.